For centuries, the Galactic Council believed they understood every species in the universe. They studied behavior, war history, weapon power, brain capacity, emotions, instincts, and every tiny detail that made a civilization dangerous or safe. Their ranking list shaped the galaxy's politics. Empires rose and fell depending on those numbers. The council chamber was massive, built of crystal walls that reflected the light of 100 stars. Representatives from every species filled the seats, giants with armored scales, tiny floating creatures made of gas, mechanical beings that hummed with electricity, and diplomats with eyes like liquid gold. They all waited for one thing: the ranking announcement of the newest species to join the galactic community. Humanity. Humans sat nervously in their assigned seats. They were small compared to most alien species. Their bodies were soft. Their faces showed too much emotion. Their hearts beat too fast. They smiled too easily. They looked harmless. And the galaxy loved reminding them of it. The council speaker, a tall insectoid being with wings that shimmered like metal blades, lifted a golden tablet. The room went silent. This was the moment. Every species leaned forward. The speaker announced loudly, based on the evaluation of physical strength, mental stability, technological advancement, emotional control, and historical aggression, we declare humanity as. He paused, letting suspense build. Some aliens smirked. A few covered their laughs already. Then the speaker said the words that would echo across the galaxy: rank, harmless. The chamber erupted in laughter. Loud, humiliating, cruel laughter. Hundreds of species shaking with amusement. Even the peaceful species chuckled. Humans sat frozen, faces flushing red. They tried to keep polite smiles, tried to act calm, but embarrassment stung them like fire. The council continued announcing details. Humanity shows no threat-level behavior. Limited weapon development. Too emotional. Too soft-hearted. Too fragile. Too easily frightened. Too peace-loving. More laughter. A giant lizard-like ambassador slapped his tail on the floor, roaring, "Harmless! Harmless! They are children." Another alien, tall and dark blue, pointed at humans. "Their anger level is low. Their weapons are toys. Their ships barely fly." Even the council guards snickered. Humans lowered their eyes. They didn't fight back. They didn't argue. They simply bowed respectfully. "Thank you for evaluating us," the human diplomat said calmly. That only made the aliens laugh harder. Because politeness looked like fear. The ranking spread across the galaxy within minutes. News channels broadcast it everywhere. Civilizations repeated it. Harmless. 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 The weakest species. The softest hearts. The smallest threat. Some planets even made jokes. Children in alien schools wrote human under the category of least dangerous species. Humanity became a galactic meme. But humans did not react. They simply continued smiling, speaking softly, building friendships, trading technology, helping weaker species, offering aid whenever needed. The galaxy believed this proved the ranking. But the truth was so much darker, deeper. Humans had agreed to this ranking. They wanted to appear harmless. They needed to appear harmless. Because a harmless human is the most underestimated weapon in existence. And the galaxy was about to learn that. On the same day the ranking was announced, an enormous broadcast flashed across every screen, every space station, every starship. The symbol of the Draken Dominion appeared, sharp red triangles, burning with arrogance. Their emperor appeared on screen, tall, muscular, armored in dark metal. His voice boomed through speakers. "Attention, galaxy. Since humanity is ranked harmless, we will now test their obedience." A pause. Then the message that shocked everyone: Earth must surrender 3 planets for our military training drills. They will not resist. They cannot resist. Gasps echoed across countless worlds. 3 planets demanded, just because humans were harmless. Humans responded politely, as always. A calm message: we decline. We do not want conflict. The Dominion began laughing. Loud, cruel, Mocking laughter broadcasted across thousands of systems. Decline? You have no right to decline. You are harmless. Emperor Draken turned to his generals. Prepare invasion. The galaxy watched with amusement. Even some peaceful races said, well, humans will probably surrender. They always avoid fights. But something strange happened. Humanity did not panic. They did not beg. They did not bow. They didn't even look angry. They simply sent one message, one calm, polite, emotionless sentence. You have made a mistake. The entire galaxy went silent. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't arrogant. It wasn't filled with rage. It was too calm, too cold, too quiet. Something felt wrong. Aliens paused their laughter. A chill passed through the council chamber. The Dominion Emperor smirked. Oh? The harmless species is trying to act brave. But the human message continued. We do not wish for war. We avoid violence. We want peace. Silence. Then the message ended with, but if attacked, we will respond. The Dominion Emperor scoffed. Respond? With what? Soft words? Small ships? He snapped his claws. Launched the invasion fleet. Massive Draken warships ignited their engines, black and red armor glowing like fire. Thousands of them. The galaxy watched eagerly. Some to enjoy the show. Some to witness humiliation. Some to study how the harmless species handled pressure. On Earth, human leaders watched quietly. Not shouting. Not panicking. They spoke in gentle voices. Prepare evacuation protocols. Secure civilian zones. Activate silent command channels. Deploy observation satellites. No war drums. No loud threats. No dramatic speeches. Just calm orders. Calm preparations. Calm movements. Too calm. Far too calm. Meanwhile, the Dominion fleet traveled at full speed through space, arrogant and excited. We will take their planets in one day. Harmless little creatures. Prepare the spears. Charge weapons. Their laughter echoed through the void. But something felt wrong. Dominion scanners detected faint movements around the edges of human territory. Not ships. Not weapons. Just energy fluctuations. Weak, quiet, controlled. Ignore it, the Emperor said. Humans don't have anything dangerous. But deep inside human space, behind invisible cloaking fields, behind layers of silence, humanity revealed something the galaxy never knew existed. Entire human fleets waited. Not weak ships. Not slow vessels. Not harmless designs. But sleek, black craft built with terrifying precision. Engines humming soundlessly, weapons hidden, silent, and cold. Soldiers stood inside, wearing armor the galaxy had never seen. Their faces were calm. Too calm. Their leader, Admiral Celine Ward, stood on the command deck, watching the Dominion fleet approach on holographic screens. She didn't shout. She didn't show fear. She didn't show anger. She simply said, they chose this. Officers nodded once. Quiet. Disciplined. Focused. No one trembled. No one doubted. No one questioned. Because they all knew the truth. The harmless ranking was the galaxy's biggest mistake. The Dominion ships entered human territory, laughing as they went. Harmless. 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 Then the laughter stopped. Because human ships appeared, without sound, without light, without warning. They didn't come from hyperspace. They didn't decloak dramatically. They were simply there. As if space itself had created them. The Dominion commander shouted, impossible. How did they sneak this close? But the scanners failed to detect anything. Humans sent a message, calm, gentle, polite, last chance. Turn back. The Dominion roared with laughter and fired the first shot. The moment that shot left their cannon, the universe changed. Human ships reacted instantly, moving with impossible speed, turning with perfect precision. They didn't fire back. They didn't destroy the enemy. They simply disabled everything. Engines died. Shields collapsed. Weapons froze. Hundreds of Dominion ships went dark instantly, as if someone switched off the stars. Dominion soldiers screamed. What is happening? Why aren't our weapons working? We're losing power. The human ships hovered silently, not attacking, only observing. Then Admiral Selene spoke one final message that echoed across the galaxy like a silent warning. We told you. You made a mistake. The galaxy froze. The harmless species had awakened, and the first price would be paid by planets. The Dominion fleet hung in space like broken toys, their engines dead, their weapons frozen, their shields dissolving into static. Panic spread like wildfire through their warships. Officers screamed, technicians slammed fists on consoles, commanders shouted orders that no system obeyed. Every alien soldier felt the same terrifying truth. Something unseen, something silent, something impossibly precise had taken control of their entire armada in seconds. And humanity hadn't even fired a single shot. Inside the flagship of the Dominion, General Vorik, famous for destroying 4 civilizations, felt cold sweat run down his scaled neck. He slammed his claws onto the emergency control panel. Nothing responded. HFY weapons dead, he roared, voice shaking with fear he had never known. Officers tried rerouting power, tried activating backup circuits, tried contacting other ships. Each attempt ended the same way: dead screens, silent comms, flickering lights. General, a young officer whispered, trembling, we cannot move. Vorik turned toward the window and saw the human fleet floating in perfect formation. Silent, emotionless, still. Ships shaped like black arrows. No glowing lights. No warm energy signatures. No movement. Not even engine trails. It felt like the humans weren't ships at all. More like a set of metal shadows watching them breathe. Vorik tried to convince himself they were bluffing. Activate the secondary cannon, he barked. Now! The crew obeyed. They tried. The cannon refused to respond, as if an invisible hand held it still. Vorik felt his heart tighten. Fix it. Fix it. Humans do not have technology like this. But deep inside he knew. He knew the truth that every Dominion officer was thinking but afraid to say aloud. Humans were never harmless. They were hiding something. Then the human message returned. Soft, calm, gentle, polite. Too polite. Please stop resisting. Vorik froze. The voice felt wrong, not threatening, not angry, not mocking. Just calm. That terrified him more than 1,000 war cries. He shouted at his crew. Who sent that? Trace the source. The crew tried. The ship's scanners flickered weakly. General, the signal is coming from everywhere. Vorik roared. That is impossible. General, another officer stammered. I think it's not a signal. I think it's a human, thinking into our system. Vorik felt cold spikes run down his spine. Humans were not telepaths. Humans were not energy beings. Humans were not capable of mind-based communication. At least, that's what the galaxy believed. On the human flagship, Admiral Selene Ward stood at the center of the command deck, her hands folded calmly behind her back. Her face showed no anger, no joy, no pride, only a quiet, steady resolve. Officers around her maintained silent efficiency. No panic, no celebration, no loud voices. It was the silence of people who had trained for decades to prepare for this moment. Admiral, her second-in-command whispered, the Dominion fleet is fully disabled. Good, Selene said softly. Do not destroy them. A few officers exchanged surprised glances. We will not start a war today, she continued. We will simply end their arrogance. Her eyes turned colder as she watched the Dominion ships drift helplessly. Humanity has been patient, she whispered. Too patient. A junior officer approached carefully. Admiral, we are receiving messages from the Galactic Council. They are confused. They want explanations. Selene didn't turn. Ignore them. But, Admiral, they ignored us when we said we wanted peace. They ignored us when we warned them about bullying. They ignored us when we accepted their insults. Celine's expression hardened. They will watch now. In silence. Back inside the Dominion flagship, General Vorik stared helplessly at his dying systems. Then he felt something strange, something humans had not shown in centuries. A shift. A vibration. A hum. Vorik whispered, "What are they doing now?" And then he saw it. The human ships moved. Not fast. Not far. But with such perfect timing and precision that every officer on every Dominion ship felt their breath leave their lungs. The human fleet split into two circular formations, one above the Dominion armada, one below. It looked like the humans were closing a trap. A trap designed thousands of years ago. A trap they had used before. Vorik's voice cracked. Block the upper route. Now! But his ships couldn't move. Couldn't aim. Couldn't run. On the human flagship, Celine raised one hand. Her movement was smooth, slow, almost gentle. A simple gesture. But it felt like gravity itself obeyed her. "Unlock Phase 1, she said. Her officers responded like a single organism. Phase 1 unlocked. From each human ship, a faint blue ripple spread outward. Silent, cold, beautiful. Dominion ships shuddered as the ripple passed through their hulls. Consoles sparked. Lights flickered. Entire floors lost gravity. Vorik screamed, "What is this? What is this human weapon? Answer me." But nobody knew. The blue ripple faded. Silence returned. Vorik's heart pounded. What did they just do? Why is nothing happening? Then one officer whispered, voice cracking with fear, "General, check the planet's communication systems." Vorik turned to the window. His breath stopped. On the Dominion-controlled world below, the entire planet lit up with human symbols. Not explosions. Not attacks. No destruction. Just takeover. Every screen. Every satellite. Every drone. Every orbital cannon. Every control center. All flashed with one message: humanity now controls this planet. Dominion soldiers on the surface screamed. Commanders fainted. Civilians panicked. Vorik felt his knees weaken. They took the planet, without firing. On the human flagship, Admiral Celine watched as the planet stabilized under their silent control. Her voice was quiet but steel-hard. "The Dominion wanted 3 planets for training drills," she said. "So we will take 3 of theirs without war." Officers nodded. No one smiled. No one cheered. This wasn't victory. This was justice delivered by a species tired of being insulted. Another human officer approached. "Admiral, the Dominion Emperor is demanding to speak with you." Celine's eyes stayed locked on the view of the fallen Dominion planet. "Tell him to wait." "For how long?" "Until he understands fear." Back on the Dominion flagship, Vorik stared blankly at his dead screens. How can they be harmless?" he whispered. "What are humans really?" His officer whispered the galaxy's new realization. "General, we were wrong." Vorik collapsed into his chair. His voice was hollow. The galaxy ranked them harmless. He swallowed harshly, tears burning in his eyes. But harmless is the most dangerous disguise. In the silence of the Dominion's broken fleet, a cold human voice echoed across every ship. "This was your warning." Vorik froze. Celine's voice continued, calm, emotionless, final, "Next time, we won't be so gentle." The transmission ended. The galaxy trembled. The Dominion fleet drifted helplessly in space, trapped inside a silent cage made not of metal, but of human precision. Their systems flickered weakly, trying to reboot, but the human encryption wrapped around them like steel chains. General Vorik stared at the dead interface, breathing heavily, sweat dripping down his scaled face. He had faced monsters, wars, disasters. He had never known fear. Until now. The humans had said one simple sentence, and those words kept echoing in his skull. "You have made a mistake." Vorik finally understood those words. They weren't a threat. They were a statement of fact. Inside Earth's command center, Admiral Celine Ward stood at the center of a glowing room. Her posture was calm, her face emotionless, but the officers around her felt the storm inside her. Admiral, her second-in-command whispered, "The Dominion is calling again. It's their 5th request. They want to negotiate." "Negotiations will happen when I choose," Celine replied quietly. "Not before." The officer nodded, swallowing hard. Celine was not angry, not loud, not violent, but there was something in her voice, something the galaxy had forgotten humans were capable of. Cold resolve, quiet fury, deep intelligence. A species that planned ahead. A species that didn't show its claws often. But when it did, entire planets changed owners. A soft alarm blinked on the console. "Admiral," another officer said, "we have communication from planet Dracos, the Dominion's military capital." Celine didn't turn. "Put it on screen." The holo display shimmered and formed the image of Emperor Draken himself, towering, armored, furious. But behind his anger was something else. Panic. "Human," he roared. "You dare steal a Dominion world. You dare humiliate us. You dare interfere with our—" His voice cracked when he saw Celine's expression. Calm. Steady. Unbothered. She didn't even blink. "You demanded 3 planets," she said softly. "We rejected you politely." The Emperor screamed, "Because you are harmless." Celine tilted her head slightly. "Are we?" The Emperor froze, throat tightening, breath shaking. For the first time, he understood he did not know what humans were. Celine continued. "Return your fleets. Apologize publicly. Promise never to attack us again." The Emperor bared his teeth. "Or what?" Celine raised her eyes. Her calm gaze hit him harder than a weapon. "Or I take another planet." The Emperor's mouth opened. No sound came out. He felt something instinctual, ancient, primal. Something calling him to retreat. But pride screamed louder. "You think you can threaten us? We are the Dominion. We control 70 worlds." Celine's voice stayed steady. 6 to 9, she corrected. The Emperor blinked. "What?" A new alarm beeped. Dominion officers rushed into view behind the Emperor. "My Emperor." Human ships, they're above planet Vortiha. The humans, they couldn't finish. The planet-wide screens behind them flickered. Human symbols began replacing Dominion codes. The Emperor screamed, "No! Stop them! Stop!" But Celine's whisper cut through the panic. "Planet number 2 is now neutralized." The Emperor slammed his fists on the console. "How are you doing this?" Celine finally showed a hint of a smile. Calm, cold, terrifying. "By being harmless." The connection cut. Silence filled the human command room. Officers exchanged looks, some terrified, some proud. Humanity had never attacked anyone. Humanity had never shown real power. Humanity had let the galaxy laugh. Let the galaxy underestimate. Let the galaxy sleep peacefully. Because peace was easier when everyone believed you were weak. But today, the galaxy had pushed too far. Back in Dominion space, General Vorik watched the second planet fall to human control with no explosions, no battles, no screams. Just silence. Human silence. The Dominion's pride shattered. Vorik whispered, voice breaking, "What are they?" His officer answered with trembling lips. "The galaxy's worst mistake." Outside, the human fleet finally began moving. Slow, deliberate, calculated. The black ships shifted into a new formation, one never seen by galactic eyes. A pattern older than star maps. A pattern that made Vorik's blood freeze. "General," the officer whispered, that's a war formation." Vorik shook his head. "No, not war." His voice cracked. "This is punishment." On Earth's flagship, Celine walked to the observation window. The stars reflected in her eyes like cold diamonds. "Prepare Phase 2, she said. "Admiral," her officer hesitated, "that will take the 3rd planet." "Yes," Celine whispered. "They asked for 3 planets for drills." She turned slightly. "We will take 3 of theirs for lessons." Her officer swallowed hard. And after that? Celine looked back into the void of space, silent, endless, waiting. A faint sadness touched her eyes. After that, the galaxy will finally understand something they forgot. Understand what? The officer whispered. Celine's voice softened, too soft, too calm. The kind of calm that makes powerful beings tremble. Humans don't like fighting. A pause. A long, heavy pause. But we are very, very good at it. She raised her hand. Send the fleet. Human ships blurred, vanishing instantly. Dominion sensors detected nothing. Then screams erupted through their comms. The humans, they're above planet Kravos. We can't stop them. Our weapons won't activate. Someone please help US. This isn't possible. Then silence. A new message appeared across the Dominion screens. Planet number 3 is secured. No casualties. General Vorik fell to his knees. Emperor Draken stared at the message in horror. And far away, in the Galactic Council chamber, silence spread like a disease. Every species watched the humans in fear. Their ranking flashed again on the big screens. Rank, Harmless. A cruel joke. A lie. A warning that no one understood until today. Humanity had ended the fight without war. 3 planets taken. 0 shots fired. 0 soldiers lost. 0 enemies killed. Only humiliation. Council members whispered shakily, if this is what harmless humans can do, what happens if they stop pretending? What happens if humanity gets angry? Celine walked back to her command chair, her voice calm, quiet, final. Message to the Council, she said. Humanity accepts a new ranking. Officers waited. Celine looked up, eyes sharp as blades. Rank, not harmless. The galaxy froze. The fall of the 3rd Dominion planet spread across the galaxy like fire racing through dry grass. Every star system, every outpost, every empire received the same message at the same time. Planet number 3 is secured. No casualties. Those 3 words, no casualties, terrified the galaxy more than any explosion or war ever had. Because everyone understood one truth. A species that can conquer without killing is a species that has mastered war completely. In the Galactic Council chamber, ambassadors argued, panicked, shouted over each other. Screens flashed with news reports, military scans, political alarms. Some demanded sanctions against Earth, others demanded protection, others insisted humanity be arrested, deported, banished, anything. But all of them kept glancing toward the humans sitting silently in the back corner. No fear on their faces. No stress. No anger. Just calm. That calm terrified everyone. Meanwhile, in Dominion space, Emperor Draken stood in front of a shattered screen, his claws shaking so hard that pieces of metal fell to the floor. He had never experienced defeat. Never experienced fear. But now, fear lived in his bones like a parasite. Get me General Vorik, he snarled. Officers hesitated before obeying, because Dominion pride was gone. They were scared of their own emperor now, and scared of humans even more. General Vorik appeared on the screen, face pale, eyes hollow. My emperor, he said quietly, it is over. Draken roared, not until I say it is over. But Vorik only lowered his eyes. We cannot fight a species who disables fleets without touching them. We cannot fight a species who takes planets in minutes. We cannot fight a species who does not even break a sweat. Draken bared his teeth. Find their weakness. Vorik whispered, their weakness is kindness. Draken slammed his fist into the console. Then we will make them angry. Vorik shook his head violently. No. If humans get angry, we lose the whole Dominion. Maybe the whole galaxy. Silence fell on the Emperor. Finally, the truth reached him. He sank into his throne like a dying beast. Tell me, General, his voice cracked. What are humans? Vorik swallowed hard. The Council called them harmless. He looked away, ashamed. They are not harmless. They are hiding weapons, strategies, intelligence far beyond us. He took a slow breath. They are the apex species in disguise. On Earth's flagship, Admiral Celine Ward stood with her hands behind her back, watching a holographic map of Dominion space. 3 red planets now glowed blue, under human control. A quiet sadness filled her chest. She did not enjoy this. She did not want this. Humanity didn't want to be conquerors. But they had been pushed. And when peaceful people are pushed too far, they do not fight like war lovers. They fight like survivors. Like protectors. Like storms. Her second-in-command stepped forward. Admiral, Dominion fleets are retreating from human borders. Their morale has collapsed. Celine nodded softly. Prepare humanitarian teams for the captured planets. The officer blinked. Admiral. We captured territory, Celine said quietly. So we will rebuild it. Feed their civilians. Repair their systems. Heal their wounded. The officer stared at her with awe. Only humans would conquer a planet and then send doctors and engineers instead of soldiers. That was humanity. Too kind. Too forgiving. Too soft. The galaxy mistook this softness as weakness. They were wrong. Celine walked toward the observation window again, watching stars drift in silence. Her face held calm, but her heartbeat was heavy. I hope the Dominion understands the message, she whispered. Because if they push again, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Her officers felt the cold truth in her voice. Meanwhile, the civilian populations of the 3 captured Dominion planets were stunned. They braced for torture, slavery, execution. But instead, humans arrived with food. With medkits. With rescue drones. Human soldiers helped injured Dominion children. Human engineers repaired power stations destroyed by their own Dominion leaders. Human medics carried wounded civilians to shelters. The Dominion civilians cried out of shock. Humans treated them better than their own empire ever had. One young Dominion girl grabbed a human soldier's hand and whispered, "Why aren't you hurting us?" The soldier knelt, smiling gently. "We don't hurt people unless they try to hurt others." The girl whispered, But we attacked you." The soldier nodded slowly. "And we stopped you. But now we help." Her small eyes filled with tears. "Are all humans like you?" The soldier whispered, "We try to be." The video went viral across the galaxy. Dominion children hugging human soldiers, human medics saving alien civilians, human engineers turning destroyed cities into hope again. Empire after empire watched, stunned. Humanity didn't conquer with fear. Humanity conquered with compassion and unmatched intelligence. And that was more terrifying than any weapon. Back in the council chamber, the news feeds played these scenes. Silence filled the gigantic hall. Every ambassador looked at each other, realizing the truth spreading like wildfire. Humans weren't harmless. Humans were humane. And humane is the most powerful thing in existence. Suddenly the chamber door opened, and human diplomats entered calmly. No armored guards. No loud announcements. Just soft footsteps. The entire room stiffened. Terror shot through every species' bones. If this was harmless, what was dangerous? The lead human diplomat spoke with a soft voice. "We do not want war. We want peace. We want safety. But we will not be bullied again." The council speaker trembled. What do you want from the galaxy, now that you've taken 3 planets?" The human diplomat looked around slowly, calm, controlled, unshaken. "Respect," she said gently. "Not fear. Not worship. Not surrender." Her eyes sharpened. Respect. At that exact moment, alarms blared across the chamber. A sudden holoscreen flashed red. Dominion Space Broadcast Emergency. The Emperor himself appeared, eyes hollow, voice shaking. "Humanity, I request a meeting." The council gasped. The Dominion never begged, never bowed, never lowered their pride. But they were doing it now. Because humanity had changed everything in 3 days. Celine's voice echoed through the council chamber speakers. "We accept." The Dominion Emperor bowed his head. "We were wrong. The galaxy was wrong. You are not harmless. Celine's voice darkened. No. We are patient. The Emperor's throat tightened. What will you do with the planets? Celine replied, quiet as a blade sliding from its sheath. That depends on your decision. My decision. Your next move decides the future of your empire. A silent tear fell from the Emperor's eye, not from sadness, but from fear. And in that silence, the galaxy understood something that sent chills across every world. Humanity had never been harmless. Humanity had merely been holding back. The Dominion Emperor stood in front of his cracked holoscreen, his giant hands trembling as he waited for the humans to respond. His war rooms were silent. His generals avoided eye contact. His advisors whispered prayers. 3 planets lost without a single battle. 3 planets taken by a harmless species. It wasn't defeat. It was humiliation carved into the bones of an empire. And worse, humanity hadn't even tried. They had only reacted. Across the galaxy, the council chamber remained silent as the Emperor waited, his face filled with fear he couldn't hide. Every ambassador watched the screen, terrified of one thing. What would humans do next? The human diplomat, a calm middle-aged woman named Myra Sarin, stood with her hands folded behind her, expression gentle but firm. She was not a warrior, but she represented a species that could wipe out an empire without firing a shot. Emperor Draken, Myra said softly, you attacked us because you believed we were harmless. Draken swallowed, his throat clicking loudly. Why yes, I was wrong. Myra's eyes didn't blink. Why? The Emperor hesitated. His voice cracked. Because the council declared you harmless. She tilted her head slightly. Do you always obey the council without thinking? Draken flinched, ashamed. We thought you were small, soft, emotional. You never raised your voices. You always bowed. You always offered peace. So you mistook kindness for weakness. The Emperor's face twisted. Yes. Myra nodded slowly, her voice almost sad. And that mistake cost you 3 planets. The silence in the chamber tightened like a noose. The Emperor's shoulders slumped as he looked away. Humanity, tell me how to fix this. But Myra didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped aside, giving the floor, giving the universe, to someone else. The holo image shifted. Admiral Celine Ward appeared on screen. Every ambassador in the chamber felt their heart stop. Celine didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her eyes alone were enough to make the strongest species in the galaxy lower their heads. Calm, sharp, focused. The eyes of someone who had planned for centuries. Someone who had hidden her claws under soft words and gentle smiles. Finally, she said, you want to fix this, Emperor? Draken nodded quickly. Yes, whatever you want, whatever you demand. Celine's voice remained slow, quiet, deadly steady. Then listen carefully. Humanity does not want war. Humanity does not want territory. Humanity does not want blood. Draken blinked in confusion. Then, what do you want? Celine leaned forward slightly. We want the galaxy to understand who we really are. The Emperor hesitated. And, who are you? Celine finally spoke the truth the galaxy avoided for centuries. We are not harmless. A cold whisper crawled across every skin, every shell, every scale in the council chamber. Empires that had mocked humans felt chills run down their bones. Celine continued. We hide our strength because we value life. We hide our weapons because we value peace. But when someone forces us, we do not lose. Her voice softened, filled with quiet sorrow. We make others lose. The Emperor felt tears burning behind his eyes. Anger, regret, shame all mixing together. Admiral, are you going to destroy us? Celine shook her head gently. No, I am going to teach you. She gestured to her officer. Show the footage. A giant screen appeared above the council. At first, it showed the Dominion planets humans had taken. But instead of destruction, instead of occupation, instead of violence, the screen showed something else. human medics healing wounded Dominion civilians, human engineers rebuilding broken power grids, human teachers helping alien children read, human soldiers repairing damaged temples, Dominion mothers hugging human nurses, Dominion children laughing as human drones flew in circles above them, dropping toys instead of bombs. The galaxy froze. Their greatest fear had been wrong. Humanity wasn't a conqueror. Humanity was a guardian. A terrifying guardian. Myra spoke next. We take land only to repair it. We take control only to stabilize it. We fight only when forced. The Emperor stared, stunned. Why help our civilians? Myra smiled sadly. Because they are innocent. Draken's voice cracked. And our soldiers? Our armies? Myra didn't smile this time. Her voice became cold steel. They are alive only because we chose mercy. The Emperor fell silent. So did the Council. But then Celine raised her hand, and a new image appeared. A secret one. A truth no alien had ever seen. A massive underground chamber beneath Earth's surface. Rows and rows of human ships. Weapons. Armored suits. Silent machines powerful enough to split planets. Technologies that broke physics. Ghost-like drones hovering in thousands. A sleeping human fleet larger than anything the galaxy imagined. But none of it was active. Everything was asleep. Hidden. Waiting. Humanity hid this? An alien ambassador whispered, trembling violently. For how long? Celine answered, since before we joined the Council. Another ambassador stuttered. Why? Why keep this secret? Celine's voice turned painfully soft. Because we wanted you to trust us. The room's silence turned emotional, heavy, overwhelming. Empires felt shame. Species who mocked humanity lowered their heads. A few cried quietly. The Emperor's voice broke completely. Humanity, I beg forgiveness. Celine nodded slowly. It is given. Relief collapsed the Emperor to his knees. But Celine's expression remained serious. However, the entire council stiffened. Draken froze in fear. Celine continued, you will repay the damage you caused. You will rebuild what you destroyed. You will return every human prisoner. Yes, Draken whispered. Yes, I will. One of Celine's officers stepped forward. Admiral, what about the planets we took? Celine paused. The galaxy held its breath. We will not keep them, she said. The chamber erupted in shock. We will return them to the Dominion, once they prove they deserve them. Draken bowed his head so low his helmet touched the floor. We will earn it. Then something unexpected happened. The young Dominion girl who had hugged the human soldier earlier appeared on a live broadcast, holding a human medkit. Her small voice echoed across the galaxy. Humans are not monsters. They helped us. They saved us. Everyone saw. Everyone heard. And everyone understood the truth. Humans weren't harmless. They were hope hidden in silence. The galaxy tried to recover from the shock, but fear doesn't let anyone breathe easily. Even after humanity agreed to return the planets later, every species in the Council walked on shaking legs. The Dominion Emperor now lived with the taste of humiliation burning in his mouth. His empire was terrified of humans. His generals were broken. His civilians were praising humans more than their own leaders. He had lost 3 planets, lost pride, and almost lost his entire fleet. All without a single human firing a shot. But deep inside, something cold and poisonous began growing inside Emperor Draken. It wasn't courage. It wasn't strength. It was desperation. Desperation mixed with wounded ego is more dangerous than any weapon. Across the galaxy, the 3 planets under temporary human control looked completely different now. Human soldiers did not act like conquerors. They walked gently, helped civilians, cleared debris, fed starving families, fixed broken homes. Dominion civilians who once feared them now watched in or as human workers repaired power grids in minutes, cleaned water systems, built hospitals, and handed out warm blankets. Children followed them around like heroes. Parents cried when humans brought medicine their empire never bothered to provide. For the first time in Dominion history, their people felt safe. Not because of their emperor, but because of the species the galaxy called Harmless. Far above planet Dracos, Admiral Celine Ward stood inside the human command center, watching reports flood in. Every screen showed human kindness changing lives. Officers gathered behind her, unsure whether they should feel pride or sadness. "Admiral," a young officer said softly, "the civilians call us protectors." "We are," Celine replied. "Even to those who once wanted to destroy us." Her words were heavy with quiet emotion. Another officer approached nervously. "Admiral, the Council has sent an urgent request. They want to talk to you about the ranking." Celine didn't answer immediately. She stared at the stars outside the window, her expression unreadable. After a long moment, she whispered, "Their ranking means nothing now." The officer swallowed hard. "Will they rank us higher? Dangerous? Fearsome?" Celine shook her head slowly. "They will try to rank us again." Silence. "But humans cannot be measured." Her voice softened with a mix of sadness and steel. "We are peaceful until we must protect. We are gentle until someone harms us. We are harmless until someone forces us to show our truth." The officer whispered, "And what is that truth, Admiral?" Celine's eyes hardened. "Humans fear hurting others. But if pushed, we end wars." At that same moment, deep inside Dominion space, a dangerous meeting took place inside Emperor Draken's throne room. A group of shadowy alien figures stood before him, tall, cloaked, with glowing crimson eyes. The Emperor's voice trembled as he spoke. "I want my planets back. I want my empire respected again." The shadow leader replied, voice twisting like smoke, "Then you must break humanity." Draken swallowed. "How?" The shadow leader stepped closer. "By showing the galaxy their true nature, their nature." "Yes. Humans hide a weapon. Something ancient. Something they swore never to use. Something even you fear." Draken hesitated. "If humans have such a weapon, why would I want to provoke it?" The shadow leader smiled, a terrifying sight. "Because if you expose their power, the galaxy will fear them. And if the galaxy fears them, they will unite against humans." A cold silence filled the throne room. Draken's pride jabbed him like a needle. His fear fought his ego. Finally, he whispered, "What must I do?" The shadows leaned forward, whispering the words that would break the galaxy. Draken's eyes widened. His breath caught. "You want me to attack them?" The shadow leader nodded. "Yes." Draken shook his head violently. "No, that is suicide." "Not an attack on their fleet," the shadow hissed. "Something worse. Attack something they love. Something they protect. Something they guard above all." Draken swallowed, horrified. "Oath." The shadow leader smirked. "Yes." Draken's heart froze. "No, no. Earth is impossible. That is madness." The shadow leaned closer, voice dripping with venom. "Humanity humiliated you. They stole your pride. If you do nothing, your empire will fall anyway." Draken felt his pride twist until it became something darker. "If I strike Earth, the humans will show their real face. And the galaxy will fear them. And the Council will unite against them. And humanity will be forced back into hiding." Draken's hands shook. His mind screamed. But his pride whispered victory. "What if they find out it was me?" "They won't," the shadow said coldly. "We will mask your signature. Humans will think it was another empire." Draken hesitated one last time. If this fails," the shadow leader said, "you will not live long enough to regret it." Draken closed his eyes. Pride won. Fear lost. "Do it," he said. "Strike Earth quietly." "As you command," the shadow murmured. And just like that, the galaxy changed course. Back on Earth's flagship, Celine felt a sudden shiver run through her spine. Something deep inside her chest tightened. Painful, sharp, unexpected. She turned toward her officers. Check Earth's defense grid. Admiral. Now, she ordered. Officers scrambled. Systems scanned. Screens flashed. A warning blinked. A faint signal, small, hidden, fast, almost invisible. But not invisible enough. Admiral, an officer shouted. Celine spun around. What is it? The officer's face turned pale. His voice shook. We detected something. What? A stealth projectile. Celine's heart stopped. Heading toward Earth. Celine's breath vanished. Her mind froze. Her vision blurred. Earth. Her home. Her people. Her families. Children. Scientists. Artists. Innocents who never knew war. Earth. The heart of humanity. Her voice ripped through the room. Track it. It's too fast. Who fired it? Unknown. Intercept it. We're trying. Don't try. Do it. Celine grabbed the console herself, hands flying across controls with terrifying speed. But it was too late. The projectile hit Earth's upper atmosphere. A blinding flash lit the entire system. Shockwaves echoed across space. Lights flickered inside the human flagship. Celine froze. Her heart cracked. Her voice broke for the first time in years. Earth, officers watched in horror as the screen filled with radiation warnings. Smoke. Fire. Silence. Celine grabbed the console so hard her knuckles turned white. Tell me what happened, she whispered. Tell me. Now. An officer choked on his words. It wasn't a nuke, Celine swallowed hard. Then what was it? The officer whispered shakily, it targeted only children's hospitals. The room went silent. No one moved. No one breathed. The entire human flagship felt a cold, murderous rage begin to rise from Celine's chest. Slow, heavy, unstoppable. Her eyes changed. Her voice dropped to a terrifying whisper. Find out who did this. Officers scrambled. A silent tear fell from Celine's eye, a tear that carried 10,000 years of human restraint. She wiped it away slowly. They wanted to see what humanity looks like when we stop pretending. She stood tall, eyes burning with a fury the galaxy had forgotten humans could feel. Very well. Her final words were quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that ends worlds. Let's show them. The moment the words children's hospitals left the officer's mouth, every human on the flagship felt something inside them snap. It wasn't anger. It wasn't shock. It wasn't even grief. It was something deeper, something that came from the core of every human soul. A quiet rage. A cold storm. A darkness that wakes only when the innocent are hurt. And Admiral Celine Ward felt that darkness rise in her chest like a sun collapsing into a black hole. She stood completely still for a few seconds. Too still. Her officers exchanged terrified glances. Celine never froze. Celine never hesitated. Celine never let emotion control her. But now, she wasn't breathing. She wasn't blinking. It felt like space itself was waiting for her next movement. Finally, she exhaled. Slow, long, deadly. Show me the footage. The officer shook as he pressed the controls. Screens lit up around the command center. Earth's surface appeared. Bright continents, blue oceans, cities full of life. Then, the impact. A silent flash. No mushroom cloud. No destruction wave. Instead, buildings flickered and vanished. Hospitals disappeared in an instant. Not destroyed, removed. Every child inside, gone. Celine's legs nearly collapsed, but she forced herself to stay upright. Her throat burned. Her heart twisted. Her jaw clenched so hard it cracked. She whispered, more to herself than anyone else, they targeted children. Silence crushed the room. Human officers couldn't speak. Some covered their mouths. Some trembled. Some cried quietly. But no one dared interrupt the Admiral. Celine finally turned around. Her eyes were not human anymore. They glowed with a cold, ancient fury the galaxy had never seen. Grief wrapped in steel. Love turned into a weapon. Run a full-spectrum scan, she commanded. The officers snapped into motion instantly. Screens filled with scan lines, energy traces, trajectory maps. But when the results came, they were chaos. "Admiral," an officer shouted, voice breaking. "The projectile's signature is masked." Masked by what? Multiple layers, 5, 10, 17 signatures. The officer swallowed hard. 20 different Empire codes. 20. Celine roared. "Yes, Admiral." His voice cracked. It was engineered to frame 20 different species. Celine closed her eyes painfully. "So no one knows the real attacker." "Exactly." Her fists tightened so hard her gloves tore. They didn't just attack Earth. They attacked Earth in a way that would start a galactic civil war. Humans framed. Empires framed. Chaos guaranteed. She whispered, voice trembling with fury, "They want to break us." Another officer said, barely able to speak, "Admiral, if the projectile had hit a different angle. Civilians all over Earth." He couldn't finish. Celine's heart shattered. Her voice softened, a kind of softness that hurts more than screaming. "Find me the source." "We're trying. Find me the source." Human computers roared alive, scanning every grain of cosmic dust. Silent algorithms awakened like wolves tracking blood scent. Then, a tiny flicker appeared on the map. A faint energy line. A whisper of a signature left behind by someone careless. "Admiral, we found something." Celine spun around. "Show me." A weak signature pulsed on the display. "This is Dominion energy, but altered." Celine's eyes narrowed. "Altered how?" "Not their original code. Someone modified it." "So someone wants us to think Dominion did it." Celine whispered. Her rage sharpened into something cold, calculating, terrifyingly focused. "Track the modification." The room held its breath. Lines of code flashed. Energy patterns decoded. Trails unfolded. The officers froze. "Admiral," one whispered. "It's not Dominion tech." Celine's heart thudded. "Then who?" The officer's voice cracked. "The shadows." Every human froze. Celine's blood turned to ice. "The shadows," she repeated. "So they crawled out of hiding after all." Officers whispered in terror. The shadows, an ancient, unseen faction rumored to manipulate empires like puppets. A group that believed only in chaos. A group humanity had crossed paths with long ago, and had hoped never to meet again. Celine inhaled painfully. "They targeted our children, to make us break." Her voice lowered until it was almost a growl. "But they don't know humans very well." She straightened slowly. Every officer stiffened, sensing what was about to happen. Celine Ward, the calm leader who avoided war, was gone. In her place stood the human apex predator. "We go to Earth," Celine said. Officers blinked. "Admiral, Earth is in shock." "We go. Our people need us. Our children deserve justice. And the galaxy needs to understand exactly what they awakened." Human fleets across the galaxy received the same order. Return home. Full speed. No delays. Silent ships turned. Engines roared. Wormholes tore open. Humanity began to gather. Every empire saw the movement. Every empire froze in fear. Every empire whispered in horror. "They are regrouping. Humans are returning to Earth. Something terrible is coming." Back inside the command center, Celine walked toward the observation window, staring at the stars with eyes burning like white fire. Her hands trembled slightly, just once, for a moment, from grief. Then steadied. She whispered, more to herself than anyone else, "They touched our children." Her jaw tightened. "So now." Her voice dropped lower than space, colder than void, sharper than blades. "We will show the galaxy what humans truly are." The lights dimmed. The air thickened. Even the ship's AI paused. Celine slowly lifted her hand. "Activate full war protocol." Every officer's breath stopped. No one had ever heard her give that order. The ship's core rumbled. Screens flashed red. Silent weapons awakened from deep sleep. Long-hidden fleets turned their course. Earth's star burned brighter as ships curved toward home. Celine closed her eyes, just for a second. One tear escaped. The last tear she allowed herself. When she opened her eyes again, they were not soft, not gentle, not harmless. They were human. And the galaxy trembled. Human fleets tore through space like silent storms, all heading toward one point in the galaxy, Earth. Thousands of black ships streaked across the void, their engines glowing with a cold white light that no alien scanner had ever captured before. And at the center of them all, Admiral Celine Ward stood on the bridge of the flagship Sol's Wrath, staring at the stars with eyes no longer hiding anything. They were not calm. They were not gentle. They were not harmless. They were human. And the galaxy felt that shift like a bruise forming across its skin. Earth slowly grew larger on the main screen. Blue, beautiful, innocent, wounded. Celine felt her chest tighten painfully. She could almost hear the cries of the parents. She could almost see the empty hospital beds. She could feel the echo of children's laughter that would never return. The weight of grief punched through her armor like a blade. But she didn't break. She didn't cry again. She hardened. Her soul turned into something sharp. "Admiral," an officer whispered behind her, "Earth security requests immediate landing. They are preparing shelters, trauma units, emergency systems." Celine nodded once. "Take us home." The flagship descended into Earth's atmosphere, the clouds glowing around it like fire. Crowds of humans gathered below, millions of them. Parents holding each other. Children shaking. Soldiers standing in rows. Scientists. Engineers. Doctors. The whole planet seemed to be breathing in one voice. Waiting. Hoping. Fearing. When Celine stepped out onto the landing platform, the world fell silent. She looked over the crowd, and for the first time since the attack, words escaped her lips, not as an admiral, not as a commander, but as a human. "I'm sorry," she whispered softly. "I was not fast enough." A mother pushed forward, tears streaming down her face. "You came," she cried. "That's all that matters." Another voice, "Save us." Another, "Protect us." Another, "Find who did this." Celine felt her heart crack over and over with every word. She placed a hand over her chest, trying to hold herself together. "I will," she whispered. "I will protect all of you." Her voice shook once, then steadied with terrifying force. "And I will find them." The crowd bowed their heads, trusting her completely. Suddenly, the sky above Earth flickered. Energy waves rippled across the clouds. Ships, unknown, dark, shaped like knives, appeared outside human orbit. Celine turned, eyes narrowing. "Enemy." Officers scanned quickly. "No, Admiral, it's the Galactic Council fleet. They came to help." Celine froze. "Help?" she repeated, disbelief in her voice. A council transmission came through. "Humanity, we stand with you. Whoever attacked your children, attacked all of us." Celine didn't speak. Her grief made her cold. Her grief made her sharp. Her grief made her dangerous. Inside council ships, ambassadors watched her with fear and guilt. They knew they had pushed humans for too long. They knew they had mocked humanity's softness without understanding its depth. And now, seeing an entire planet wounded, they felt shame burn through their pride. A council ambassador spoke, voice trembling. "Admiral, let us help you find the enemy. Let us join you." Celine stared into the camera. "You want to join us now?" The ambassador nodded nervously. "Yes, this attack was." Celine cut him off. "Where were you before the attack?" Silence. "Where were your ships when the projectile entered our system?" More silence. "Where were your sensors when our children died?" The ambassador lowered his head. "We failed you." Celine's eyes burned brighter. "No," she whispered. "You failed yourselves." The transmission ended. Celine turned to her officers. Prepare the message. What message, Admiral? The one the galaxy has feared for thousands of years. Officers froze. Admiral, you don't mean. I do. The officer swallowed. But if we send that message, every empire will panic. Celine's face didn't move. Good. She stepped into the communications center and activated a channel that had been locked since humanity first entered the galaxy. A channel older than human alliances. A channel meant for only one thing: war. This is Admiral Celine Ward of Earth, she said, her voice cold metal. To the shadows hiding in the dark corners of the galaxy. Her tone dropped lower, filled with grief shaped into a blade. I am coming. Her voice echoed across every empire, every moon, every system. To the empires who plotted with them. She paused. The air vibrated. I am coming. Her voice deepened. To anyone who thinks humanity is still harmless. She leaned forward. Test us again. Earth's skies darkened. The stars dimmed. Human fleets formed behind her like a silent army of ghosts. Then Celine whispered the final words that turned the galaxy's blood cold. You took our children. Now we take everything. The transmission ended. The galaxy held its breath. Then, a new alarm exploded across the command center. Admiral. Celine spun around, eyes burning. What now? The officer pointed at the screen. Unknown signal, heading toward Earth, at impossible speed. Celine's heart stopped. From who? We don't know. It's coming through a tear in space. A tear? Space split open outside Earth's orbit, a giant wound glowing with violet light. Everyone froze. Everyone stared. Everyone felt fear crawl up their spine. Celine stepped forward slowly. What is that? The tear widened. Something emerged. Not Dominion. Not Council. Not shadows. Something older. Something impossible. Something humanity had hoped would never wake again. A colossal black silhouette filled the tear. Bigger than battleships. Bigger than cities, ancient and alive. The officer choked out the scan results. Admiral, it's not a ship. Celine's eyes widened. It's a being. The entity's voice echoed across the entire solar system, deep and horrifying. Humanity, you have been hiding from us. Celine whispered one word. No. The being continued. We remember you. She felt her knees weaken. Not them. We remember your war. Celine's breath vanished. Not after all this time. We remember your fury. The entire human fleet trembled. Every empire trembled. Earth trembled. Then the being spoke the words that shattered the galaxy. Humanity, your ancient enemy has returned. Celine's eyes filled with fire and fear. The screen shook. The being roared. We have come for you. Cut. The ultimate cliffhanger.